Come in.
Hello, yeah, you have requested me to come to your office today?
Ah, yes, Hans. Hans, please come in.
Hello,
Have
hi.
a seat.
Thank you very much.
My name's Mikhail. I'm your HR rep.
Okay.
Let's see. You're due for a 90-day review since we hired you onto the MK Ultra program.
Oh, okay, now I understand.
How have you been liking it so far?
It's a pretty good gig. Is this a safe space for me to talk about?
Oh, completely. This is all completely confidential if you believe that.
I'll be completely honest with you. At first, I was a little reticent about working for a Jew.
No, yeah, understood. We at the CIA also have had some qualms.
Sidney Gottlieb is his name. He's very inferior blood, I think, in that man. But that was my feelings in the beginning. But now, I mean, he's given me so much LSD, both for myself and my friends and the people I'm experimenting.
No, torture, please. Torture.
Yes. You know, maybe he's a little bit cool guy.
Oh, you think the Jews are good now?
Well, at least fun, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's see. So seeing here, you have a great history of torture. Your resume was sparkling.
Yes,
have you
thank
come
you.
up with any creative or new interesting methods of breaking people down emotionally, mentally, physically, just tortures in general?
Mostly right now, I've been focusing on injecting radioactive materials into the food of mentally deficient children.
Oh, wow.
And that's yielding some horrific results. I don't know that they'll do anything for U.S. national security, but it's fun.
Have you chosen children specifically because of
Because
the
they are
scientific value?
retarded and no one will remember them when they are dead.
Okay, so it's just to be more of an asshole.
They're disposable, yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'll mark that down.
Okay. Can I get back to torturing now?
Oh, please, just a couple more minutes.
Okay.
Let's see. Says here you've been unhappy with the working conditions.
I may have been on many LSD and barbiturates when I said this.
That actually makes a lot of sense. The complaints include snakes, demons, fairies.
Oh, I remember that day. There was
Lot
blood.
of-
There was blood coming from the walls.
A lot
It
of
was
Jew
crazy.
stuff in here. Not happy with the Jews.
Listen,
And also, apparently, there was a robot Hitler chasing you around for a short time.
I tried to be his friends, and then he tried to kill me.
Yeah, we've actually had a lot of reports of the Mecha Hitler when people are really deep on the stuff. Okay, well, thank you very much for coming in. And if you could, as a message from up top, try and get those torture numbers up just a little bit this month.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Okay, thank you so much, Hans.
Okay, Heil Hitler.
No,
No?
not here. No.
Oh, okay.
Who is the president now?
Truman.
You can Heil Truman. Heil Truman's okay.
He's okay, I guess.
Can we get a Heil Truman?
Heil Truman. Hey gang, welcome back to Delete Everything Podcast for our second part of our MK Ultra saga. I'm your host, Patrick Wall. With me as ever is my co-host,
Riley Bowen.
and Drew's still here with us for part two, so
comfy.
he's very comfy right now in his new chair. If you have not listened to part one of this two-parter, I highly suggest you go back and listen. Part one was,
You will not know what the fuck we're talking about.
it'll just fucking be real hard right out the gates. Part one was all the setup and a lot of the fuckery, and it's definitely like waist deep in fuckery. We're going to go into the deep end on this one. So even though it's possible to listen to this one as a standalone, you'll miss a lot of the context if you skip part one. So that's just my opinion and my suggestion. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. So one thing you want to do is leave us a 5-star rating and a cute little review on whatever platform you're listening to. Please make it cute. If you're listening on Spotify, leave us a comment on the episode. If you've already done that, then I guess come sit on my lap and have a kiss. Then
What?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
No.
now. Yeah, we're doing.
No, we're not doing that.
Kisses.
We're not making that a thing.
We're doing gentle kisses.
I knew it. I knew at a certain point you were going to introduce like Uncle Patrick's lap kisses from the fucking Jump Street. I was like, I knew it.
One day he's going to invite our listeners
start
to
getting
get
everybody
kissed.
on his goddamn lap.
Can I quit yet?
No,
Not until you sit on my lap and get a kiss.
Is that
Buddy,
what
if
it takes?
Drew, if you quit, this whole fucking thing goes tits up. So
So after you come get a little kiss, then you can go to Instagram and find us at Delete Everything Podcast, where we post silly videos and photos that correspond to every single episode. Also, if you want to give us a little holler and maybe there's a topic you really want us to cover, then email us at deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com. And finally, if you have listened to every single minute of every single episode and you're like, fuck, what now? What do I do?
go to work.
Riley, do you have
What are
any
you doing?
other than go to work? You got any ideas, Drew? Any ideas of what they could do?
Oh, I would say mosey on down to Patreon.
Yeah, that's
home
right.
of the
Of the insanity.
home of the stuff.
Every week, baby. Every week we put out a bonus episode. So
We call them boners episodes.
we
That's
do.
true.
We do.
These last few were pretty fucking funny.
Pretty bonery. I actually think we may have released our best one.
Yeah.
You think that one?
Yeah, you know, Patrick texted me about it. The
I'm
one,
an ice cream barge guy all the way.
That was okay. I will
That's-
say,
Like I said,
the
I'm
ice-
in it for the insanity.
Ice cream
Like,
barge is the one where we decided to fully stop having any sort of like moral thought process behind anything we say
or
on
just
Patreon.
cohesive thought process in general.
We were just like, hey, you know, let it just say the worst things we can say.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. And honestly, that episode may have, like, if we were going to go back in time and like kill a baby Hitler, I think that would be like our baby Hitler.
that episode.
What's that say about me? That's my favorite.
That's your face. I love baby Hitler.
That episode plays
not, just to be
like
clear.
it was live from the psychiatric ward.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So, but it is fun. And here's what I'm going to say. Forgotten TV shows, our most recent, or last week's Patreon, or I guess when this comes out a few weeks back, is definitely in the top 3 for me. For me, it's in the top
really
3.
good.
It was a
Let
really
me-
good episode.
Let me lay it down for you guys, just to pump the Patreon a little bit. Our thought process with Patreons is we just basically live our lives, and maybe at some point in that week, we see something that's like, that'd be worth talking about.
Uh-huh.
We don't research it at all,
Nope.
and then we forget that topic.
Yep.
And then we sit down, and then we just talk into microphones for 45 minutes about whatever fucking insane bullshit we can come up with.
Pretty much. So, and we do that every week. So patreon.com/delete everything podcast. There's a backlog of over 40, special bonus episodes. They're shorter. They're 40, 45 minutes long. Typically they're, like Riley was just saying, a lot more unedited, unbridled, unhinged. Patrick and Riley and frequently Drew. So it's a pretty solid deal for $8, 40 bonus episodes. Plus they don't stop. They keep coming, baby. By the time you get through all 40, there will probably be another like 15, 20 waiting for you. So what else are you going to do with that money? Get a fucking Whopper meal? I have bad news. $8 won't get that for you. So
It's true, dude. I ate at fucking Burger King yesterday. It was like $13 for like a bit. I mean, I was just on the road. I thought
get
against
it.
it, and I was like,
and a Whopper meal is not even going to teach you anything cool. It's just a great way to get diarrhea.
yeah, exactly. It's not even
If I'm
funny.
doing all that at that point, I'm gas station hot dogging it.
yeah,
we
yeah,
talked about this.
Yeah, RGIs, roller grill items. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Or
for a short time, guest of the show, Jake Teeters and I, we were researching heavily into a short form documentary about roller grill items at gas stations, because there is something fascinating about the fact that we have no concept of where any of those are coming from.
Gross.
Do you have any name a brand of roller grill
Nobody
items?
can do that.
Exactly.
It's mystery nipples and buttholes.
It's nothing.
I like the thrill of it.
You can also decide to forego the diarrhea and come hang out with us on Patreon. So,
Yeah, do that instead.
Bonus, we interact with our Patreon listeners pretty much daily. I think we're sending them some free stickers, some free swag this week, or next week or something soon. So yeah, quit being a bitch and come hang out with us. Speaking of, if you listen to every minute of every episode
Backwards, you'll hear the satanic messages.
one of our Patreon listeners actually this week texted me and was like, so I've listened to every single regular episode and every single Patreon, and was like asking for suggestions on other podcasts to listen to. So I threw some suggestions out, but
Was that Danny?
yeah.
Love you, Danny.
Yeah, we do. We love you very much. All right. Enough of that. Let's jump the fuck back in on this craziness, shall we?
Okay, so a quick recap from last episode.
Yeah.
We were talking about Project Paperclip and how they brought a bunch of Nazi,
Operation Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip. They brought a bunch of Nazi scientists over.
They sure did.
Including
and Japanese ones.
and Japanese as Axis.
Yeah.
Guys, they brought them over to utilize their proficiencies in varying ways in the American government services. I came across a cool song by the recently passed away satirist Tom Lehrer.
Okay.
Wrote that great song "Poisoning Pigeons in the Park" that I'm always on about Werner von Braun.
Interesting.
The rocket scientist.
Yeah.
The lyrics essentially say something along the lines of like, he was always really good at putting rockets up, but if you asked him where like they came down during the war, he'd just say that wasn't my department.
Jesus. Tracks.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, we were talking about Project Paperclip, and yeah, from there.
As a member of the SS, I would say that was very much his department. Yeah, so yeah, we did a lot of background into how we got to the point where U.S. intelligence got so paranoid that they basically employed the same methods and means that Nazi Germany did. We just don't hear about it. We hear about all the crazy fucking experimenting that the Nazis were doing during World War II, pre-World War II, but not so much that we did the same exact fucking shit. And we stopped before we really got into the shit. So today we're wading into it. So the entire purpose of MK Ultra, like its sole purpose for all of these projects really, was to condition the mind and eradicate free will entirely. Like that's if you distill it down, that is what the project was. Yes, they did a fuck ton of messed up shit and the details matter very much, but that's the shortest answer to why were they doing that at this point. That's basically what it boils down to. So
fun fact information, that was also the goal of DC villain Darkseid, Superman's big antagonist, with the anti-life equation.
Okay.
Is that from that stupid?
Didn't know that one.
What?
Is that what Darkseid is in the comics, or is that just from that stupid Snyder cut?
No,
thing?
Darkseid in the comics. Yeah, anti-life
his
equation
thing.
is a big Jack Kirby thing. Yeah, we talked. Remember the Patreon where we talked about the Jack Kirby schism with Marvel and DC?
I do.
Now he like went over from doing like Fantastic Four and
Fugue
all that
state,
shit,
man.
and then
Fugue
he went
state.
over to
I don't know.
DC, and then he created Darkseid for Superman and all these other.
I don't
great
know
characters.
anything about Darkseid
Is that well? Jack Kirby was a
other than Pink Floyd wrote a whole album about his ass.
Jack Kirby was a soldier during World War II, and
I like that.
Jack Kirby was a soldier during World War II. He was like at the Battle of the Bulge and shit. So he worked a lot of anti-fascist, I guess you could call it propaganda, but anti-fascist stuff into his characters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I did not know that about that was Jack Kirby.
Yeah, he's the one who came up with like the Red Skull to fight Captain America. and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I vaguely know a little bit about.
yeah,
Cool.
great artist.
All right, so by the time we get to 1953, MK Ultra is officially born. CIA's Project Artichoke, which we briefly talked about last episode, is absorbed into under MK's umbrella, right?
It's fun. Actually, I'm sure that Drew, working in the emergency room, has seen an artichoke or two get absorbed in his day.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's a
Pretty
weird
much
thing.
any agricultural item you can imagine has been up an ass.
I feel like corn on the cob would be the go-to just because the little nubs.
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
kernels.
it's like ribbed for his or her pleasure.
I just if I was going to insert a sound effect there, I'd take like
Or their pleasure.
like a straight comb and just.
So Artichoke is absorbed into MK Ultra. A lot of people will say that Project Artichoke became MK Ultra. That's not entirely correct. We'll get into that in a second. So Artichoke is really kicking ass, combining hypnosis with forced morphine addiction at this point. Well, morphine addiction, morphine withdrawal, LSD, you name it. Really, they're trying all kinds of this shit out. So
That's fucking interesting. I'm sorry to break in because I know we're just starting off,
Yeah.
but there's a tie there with our Freak Show episode. Did we talk about geeks on that episode? Well, a geek is somebody that like a carnival like wrangler
Right.
usually would usually like get off the street. They'd be like a junkie
Okay.
or somebody desperate and homeless, and they get them hooked on drugs and eventually like break them down into like base.
right,
Like animalistic features and have them like biting the heads off chickens. and shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Did you ever
So-
read that book, Geek Love?
No, never did.
I think I have a copy of it.
That'd be cool. No.
Yeah, but it gets really weird.
We got to
but-
revisit fucking freak stuff. There's always more freak stuff.
There is. So yeah, Artichoke wasn't really replaced by MK Ultra. I mean, Artichoke kept going as its own project. MK Ultra just cast such a huge fucking net that there was a ton of stuff. So Artichoke really just ended up getting it was in that net. You know, Artichoke's directives were just a slice of that big fuckery pie.
Fuckery pie.
Mm-hmm. So what the CIA decided it wanted was to create a Manchurian Candidate, right? That book, by the way, at this point in 1953, is still several years away. Did we talk about that last episode?
We did.
Yeah. How it's like that book came out in 1959, which is weird. Yeah, they wanted
the Denzel Washington version isn't quite as good as the classic.
We did talk about that. Yeah. So
Still pretty good.
if you don't know what
Never
Manchurian
seen it.
Candidate is, it's essentially a person, ideally a foreign subversive that we've captured, that we can brainwash and implant directives in their brain that when we activate, they go into this state of amnesia and basically involuntarily do whatever we direct them to do.
What we
It's-
would refer to colloquially now
It's
as
assassination, by the way.
what we would refer
That's
to
what
now
we
as a sleeper cell.
Yeah. So, and it's assassination, just to be
Not
clear.
to be confused with a splinter cell. which
To
is a
tie it back
different
into
thing.
comic books, it's what's his head? Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, so Winter Soldier. Yeah,
Yeah.
very literally.
I don't know why I'm
you
tying it back
activate
into
them, they do whatever you want, which, like I said, is They're not going to ask you to like go pick up the dry
Yeah,
cleaning
which
or
sorry,
give Peter from down
if
the hall.
any
a
Marvel
BJ.
fans are listening, if you saw the recent Captain America and you saw that Bucky Barnes is going to be running for fucking political office and shit, sorry for the spoiler alerts.
I don't know what.
Because he's a fucking sleeper cell.
Oh, okay.
It's been the long... Obviously, he's going to get into fucking politics, and then they're going to activate him, and he's going to go Winter Soldier again. It's fucking... This book's been written since the 50s.
Jesus Christ.
Damn, we should have done that for the intro. Done like a sequence of unrelated words and had one of you act.
That sounds like too much. You don't want to do that. Don't act like you want to do
That's
that.
true.
Cellar door.
I'm good with
Gibson.
Yeah. Right now, all you have to do for
Katana.
It's
that.
like some dripping.
Katana.
All you have to
Dildo.
do for that intro is put a knock on a door in, and that's pretty much it.
They're just
You don't even have to do much reverb.
just literally...
We're in an office.
Our sleeper cell thing would just be listing off the things in the studio right now. Katana,
Ukulele,
fish stick.
Shrimp.
shrimp necklace.
Okay, so again, assassination is what we're going for. It's explicitly to attempt assassinations against political targets. Confirmed in declassified documents. They had targets in mind. The documents that I dug up had all the names and countries redacted, unfortunately. But there was a document stipulating that this assassination attempt, at least one that they planned, would be, quote, against a prominent redacted politician. It's believed that it was Castro they're talking about, or if necessary, against an American official. After American official, there was a handwritten asterisk on the document, but
That's a JK.
yeah, well, think about this. Alan Dulles, who I know we haven't really discussed at length yet. I think we're going to do our monthly mini on him and probably him and Sidney Gottlieb together. Alan Dulles was running the CIA at the same time that J. Edgar Hoover was running the FBI. And I think I texted you guys at one point when I was doing my notes that like the worst part of not believing in an afterlife, like I really wish that I did just so I could get like a warm fuzzy thinking about those two absolute fucking ball bags just suffering for eternity.
Like right next to each other.
Yeah, just
burning.
like,
Fucking.
maybe we shouldn't have been such pieces of shit. So before, by the way, Artichoke was part of MK Ultra. So before 1953, its attempts to figure out how to break someone's mind and hijack their free will didn't go straight to hypnosis and morphine. There was a lot of trial and error, right? There was a lot of, like I said, forced addiction to morphine, forced withdrawal from morphine. There was also cocaine, weed, heroin, peyote, mescaline, and a whole lot of LSD.
So right up until the assassination,
party.
it's a party.
It's a fucking party. They really saw LSD as a super promising way to get someone to talk. And boy, did they go hard on that fucking shit. By the way, LSD back then is still pretty new shit. It was first synthesized at Sandoz Laboratories in 1938 in Switzerland by Albert Hofmann. And Hofmann was trying to make a circulatory stimulant that wouldn't affect the uterus to aid in childbirth, basically. Failed miserably at that, by
Did
the
he
way.
do a bunch of experiments where he gave a bunch of pregnant women fucking
No.
LSD?
No.
Because that would be fascinating.
No, he isolated it initially and realized that it wasn't going to have the effect that that he wanted it to have.
No, it'll
and so
just
he
make them trip their dicks off.
Well, at this point, he didn't fucking know. He just through testing it and whatever, like just chemical compound, whatever, he realized, no, I didn't get it right. And he went on to keep trying to figure out what he was trying to figure out. And he shelved it for 5 years. In 1943, he takes it out again to analyze, and he accidentally absorbs some through his skin. He later wrote that he was, quote, affected by a remarkable restlessness combined with a slight dizziness. At home, I lay down and sank into a not unpleasant, intoxicated-like condition, characterized by an extremely stimulated imagination. In a dreamlike state, with eyes closed, I found this is in quotation, I found the daylight to be unpleasantly glaring. I perceived an uninterrupted stream of fantastic pictures, extraordinary shapes with intense kaleidoscopic play of colors. After some 2 hours, this condition faded away.
Yep.
Sounds like tripping.
Yeah.
3 days later,
LSD.
3 days later, he intentionally did a 250 microgram dose.
Shit.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, if you've never done psychedelics, is called a hero's dose.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's and probably real fucking pure ass, like legit
that's
LSD.
Like, I'm gonna fly now.
Yeah,
that's
you're not there anymore. Like
That is-
you're there's one of two things. Either you're not even in that room or you are horrifyingly in that room. And there is no escape.
I think the characters that we play on the podcast,
Yeah,
We're all
I
pretty-
hear from
The story, the story is that he was so uncomfortably tripping that he had to go home for the day, and one of his coworkers like escorted him home. But this is in Switzerland, and he rode his bike to and from work, and he riding his bike back through town to go home was like the most surreal experience ever. And now apparently whatever day that is, it's in April, is a bicycle day.
Wow.
Where people trip balls and ride bicycles around.
And the character I play on my podcast has taken a couple of LSD bike rides.
I'm not opposed to celebrating bicycle day, is all I'm saying.
There's some strange and vivid memories of those encounters.
Yeah. So, all right, that was just a little, fun little side story.
I'm going to tell one right now.
Go ahead,
I was a teenager, but the character I play on my podcast is a teenager, and I was tripping out with a friend in St. Augustine Shores. We went for a night bike ride, and I remember this distinctly because they're really big, wide, smooth roads in the suburb, right? And the fucking street lights are kind of on the side of the road, but in my intoxicated condition, all of the street lights formed into like balls of light in the middle of the road, and it was utterly black on the sides, so it would just be like complete shock black, and me and my friend were going.
So you're just going into the portal
straight into this like endless road, and it would just be like big spotlight, darkness, big spotlight, dark. It was fucking cool.
That's cool. It's like Close Encounters. You're just going straight toward the light.
Yeah, shit was wild. Don't do drugs, guys.
Yeah, don't do drugs. The last time
Do drugs.
The last time I did acid was the
Character
day
you play on
before.
your podcast.
Yeah, it was
We're in
like right
character.
before you got here.
Yeah.
It was the day before I found out I was going to be a father. Like I was actually still coming down when I heard that.
Oh, that's not a fun way to come down.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
don't
tell
want
them
that much stress and anxiety on an acid come down.
I'm gonna
Or
delete
maybe
that.
you do.
No,
Nah, don't delete it.
Delete it. Do whatever you want. Who gives a shit?
Let people learn who you are.
It's all
Drew.
part of the equation.
who I
Man.
was.
Anyway, moving
Who
on.
you were. It's part of who you are. So, like I said, that was a fun little side story, but the CIA thinks that there's something special about this LSD stuff, which, you're not necessarily wrong, but not the way they did it, though. It does not help that in 1951, Alan Dulles got some real shitty intel that Russia had purchased 50 million doses of LSD from Sandow's labs.
Damn.
Sandoz had only made 40 grams of the shit since Hoffman had discovered its psychoactive properties 8 years previous, right? Somehow the wires got crossed and milligrams got changed to kilograms. So they believe, like Dulles is convinced that Russia has figured out how to use LSD for mind control. And he's like, fuck. So
Fuck, God, they figured out the LSD mind control. Fuck, no.
What a weird fucking time.
Yeah, like what an odd.
it really is. Just wait.
And these guys are in suits. Like imagine like the professional capacity. Like God damn it, they figured out the drug.
They
mind
got all the
control. Fuck my
LSD
ass.
shit. So by 1953, the CIA has
Someone
multiple.
bring me some cocaine.
By 53, the CIA has operations in multiple countries, Japan for one, also the Philippines, West Germany, and they are testing the effects of LSD and hypnosis combined with extreme sensory deprivation with the goal to either break people to a point where they give up information on their countries or ideally break people to the point where they can turn them into unwitting assassins, turn them on their home countries, and then use them again as this sleeper cell, right? And they are fucking buck wild with the LSD. At one point, Sidney Gottlieb, who I think we mentioned in the first one. Did we mention Sidney Gottlieb before now?
I don't think so.
Sidney Gottlieb was the head chemist for originally Project Artichoke and then MK Ultra. And he's just a miserable fuck of an evil fucking human being. And I don't like that word, but he was just, I think, like I said, for our monthly mini, we're going to do Alan Dulles and Sidney Gottlieb and kind of just not necessarily all about MK Ultra, but we'll weave in and out of all that shit. But yeah, he was the head chemist for MK Ultra, and he was budgeting out the money to buy as much LSD as Sandoz Labs was willing to make. At one point, they got an exclusive deal that any LSD that Sandoz made gets sold to no one but the CIA. And we spent like...
Damn, government contract for drugs.
Yeah, I think we spent there's declassified documents. I think it was $240,000, which was the equivalent of like a few, 4 or 5 million that we spent to say, Sandoz Labs in Switzerland, you are making LSD, you are making it only for us, full stop, right?
Nice.
There was also, because we're going to get into some of the sub-projects for MK Ultra here, there was also sub-project number 6, which was that the CIA was trying to find a domestic company to make LSD. So we didn't have to go to Sandoz in Switzerland anymore. We could just have it made. Yeah, we were American-made red, white, and blue LSD, son of a bitch. Are you familiar with Eli Lilly pharmaceutical company?
Can't say I am.
I know the name.
A very big pharmaceutical company that still exists today. They were the ones who were kind enough to oblige.
Nice. Are they still producing it?
We'd have to write a letter to them, I think, probably. But
I picture going to a research laboratory and having giant vats of pure LSD bubbling.
But think about this.
Take a swim in there.
Yeah, no.
Think about this.
You would dissolve in it.
A pharmaceutical company that still exists was making a shit ton of money from the CIA, taxpayer money, federal funds, to create LSD so that the CIA could turn around and effectively torture people, do experiments on them without their consent, and that company's still around.
Woof.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
So, all right, back to Sidney Gottlieb budgeting out money for LSD. He wanted the entire global supply. Just, like I said, federal taxpayer funded LSD to do experiments on foreign nationals, and not only foreign nationals. The thing that we hung Nazis for less than 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Doing experiments on human beings without fucking consent, right? So, and like I said, by 1953, that only foreign national shit is out the window. The CIA wanted to know what would happen when people were dosed without their knowledge. The solution? We've got a whole bunch of agents here in the CIA.
Just dose the agents.
Why not dose them without their knowledge?
Men with guns.
Yeah.
Guns and classified intel.
Holy
and fucking
shit.
MK Ultra was secretly putting LSD in CIA, CIA agents that weren't even necessarily involved in MK Ultra. They were just in the CIA.
Yeah, they might have not even known what the fuck LSD was.
They didn't even have the security clearance to know that MK Ultra existed. And these guys are fucking dosing their coffee and shit in
These
the
are
morning.
probably straight lace ass fucking like Boy Scouts and shit.
Yeah. And they're dosing them and okay, so we did Jim today. We did Jim, Bob, Philip, and Janine.
We're just gonna watch what happens.
And so everybody just keep an eye on those 4, and we're gonna see what fucking happens.
God damn it, we should have done an elaborate intro.
Right.
It's also important to note that in these programs, part of it, they're indulging their own curiosity and learning lots about LSD by, quote, self-administering.
So
on a fairly regular basis.
So hold on. So these guys are dropping acid and then being like, "Yo, we dosed Mike. We dosed him this morning. Watch him in the cafeteria." And then Mike's in the cafeteria doing some sort of gorilla panic, just dance. And they're like,
He's in the cafeteria just moving one single bean from one side of the plate to the other and chuckling a little bit and then moving it back to the other side and chuckling. So no, but you have to think through this period of history, a significant portion of the CIA is pretty constantly just tripping balls.
Yeah,
either by their own hand or by the hands of one of their colleagues. You've just got a bunch of CIA agents somebody's tripping every day. A handful of people are tripping every single day in the CIA office.
I think it's fun to note too that if there were enough people in the know, except for you, and you get dosed, at a certain point, you notice everyone's looking at you real weird. And it's not necessarily because you're acting bizarre. It's because they're all like...
They all know that you're...
When is he going to freak out?
Right.
Tripping balls.
And if you're tripping balls and everybody's staring at you, that is not... That's going to turn into a not fun trip real quick.
Running out of the CIA like, they're watching me!
Yeah, and you're a CIA agent.
Fucking gun drawn.
God,
blasting holes in the wall.
Kill me, fuck! You just fucking running naked down the streets of DC, screaming.
Your tie still like flapping behind you.
Just your ties on. So this brings me to the story of Frank Olsen. You may not have heard of Frank Olsen by name, but there's probably some version of this story that you've either heard or seen dramatized versions of, whether it's in conjunction with MK Ultra or not, or sort of just, it's a very like CIA driven plot point. It's like Jason Bourne bullshit, right? So it is a dramatic story that's kind of like, it's woven into the zeitgeist of films and TV just at this point. But Frank Olsen was a bacteriologist and biological warfare scientist. Pretty smart guy. He was a veteran in the U.S. Army Chemical Corps, and he retired with the rank of captain. So pretty fucking high rank, right?
Pretty good.
He was posted at Purdue University's agricultural station when he gets a call asking him to come work on a secret project for the CIA involving biological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
So
the call every little boy dreams of.
So at this point, this is in 1942. So we're in World War II right now, right? So he really relocates to Camp Detrick in Maryland, and he starts working in the Chemical Corps' biological warfare laboratories, right? Mm-hmm. That program sort of evolves a little bit. It eventually becomes called the Special Operations Division, right? And he ends up becoming the head of the SOD, right? In 1950. So the SOD gets established in 49. Within a year, he's the head of the Special Operations Division. Right. And this is a highly, highly, highly classified, highly secretive chemical weapons program. Right. So Camp Detrick was already pretty much like very classified, very like you have to have all the fucking security clearances and shit. The SOD was considered the Detrick inside of Detrick. Like you had to be big dick top dog to even get close to the motherfucker, right?
You had to have a badge that said big dick top dog.
Big dick top dog. And the only person who had that badge was Frank Olsen. Okay. So the CIA is worried that the Russians are advancing microbe warfare. And so they want to secretly come up with some developments of their own. Remember Operation Sea Spray we talked about last episode?
Yeah, where they were
off of San Francisco,
throwing shit off San Francisco
for 6 days.
Yep. Also fucked.
Yeah, super fucked.
Well, Frank Olsen was part of that.
Well, Frank Olsen's a piece of shit.
Reserve judgment for now.
Reserve judgment until after he releases germs on a civilian populace in his own country.
Trust me. So in 1952, Frank is appointed as part of Project Artichoke. You know, right around the time, 1952 is right around the time that Sidney Gottlieb is going LSD cuckoo. Right? That was 53-ish, right? So at the beginning of 1953, Frank Olsen decides that he wants to step down as the head of the SOD. He wasn't okay with coming to work every day and seeing dead animals that had been gassed or injected or just generally tortured to death.
Yeah, sucks.
His son was quoted as saying, he'd come to work in the morning and see piles of dead monkeys. That messes with you. He wasn't the right guy for that.
Yeah, fuck that. One pile of dead monkeys is enough.
So that alone, that's okay? And yeah, it's at 2 piles.
One pile of dead monkeys. Yeah,
I feel like if you come to work one day and there's a pile of dead monkeys, you can be like, but you can still probably work there. If you come like 2 days in a row and it's a different pile of dead monkeys, you're like, nah, I gotta get the fuck out
this
of here.
isn't. I'm not working the dead monkey.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing. I'm not on the dead monkey crew.
So that alone, that whole coming in with just fucking tortured, murdered animals on a regular basis was enough to fuck with his psyche over the course of, however many years. But that wasn't it. He had also traveled to multiple foreign bases and CIA safe houses, and he oversaw multiple attempts to erase memories. Are you still laughing about dead monkeys?
I'm sorry. All right, so Spotify has been doing auto chapters on our episodes, and
I was going to do something about that in our Patreon, but you can do it. You can do it now. Do you
think we can trigger chapters by saying things? Hold on, everybody be quiet.
Are you hoping that there's a chapter called Piles of Dead Monkeys?
One pile of dead monkeys, two piles. You know how it'll do like sequential ones?
We've been going on. So this is we've talked on Patreon, especially a lot about the horrors of advanced AI. We've never really talked about the hilarious aspects of advanced AI. And one of them is that Spotify has started doing chapters for all of our episodes. And it just sort of
automatically generated. We have nothing to do with it.
It just sort of generates names for the chapters. So, for example, the one that just literally caught me completely off guard is I was going through all of them and just reading through the chapters because some of them are fucking hilarious. And on our Trimates episode, you go down and you scroll down and it's all like
Dr. Jane Goodall.
Yeah, it's Jane Goodall and Diane Fossey and like the Trimates and yada yada. And you get to the last chapter and it says Big Dicks Boners. And I was like, wow, we almost got through one. And then the last chapter, Big Dicks Boners. And it's not a pluralized. It doesn't have an apostrophe. It's not like a guy named Big Dick and he's got like a boner emporium. It's just
is it capitalized?
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
like,
All caps.
All three words. All three words are capitalized. So anyway, that's been fun. We've been laughing a lot about that.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Stop thinking about it.
Now I know why you were giggling for so long, and I think it would be hilarious if one of the chapters of this episode was pile of dead monkeys or two piles of dead monkeys or however many piles of dead.
It's almost guaranteed now, but be quiet for a second because I want to see if we can trigger this.
Okay.
I'm going to try a couple, okay? Pile of dead monkeys. Pile of dead monkeys.
Now it's definitely going to be.
Pile of dead monkeys. All right, now, yeah.
So, like I said, he also traveled to multiple foreign bases.
You guys can interact as well. Check the chapters and see.
Go back and look at some old ones. No more. Sorry. We're moving on.
Do go through and read all through the chapters.
There's the good ones in hilarious. Satanic Panic that are like, whoa.
Slew of Fuckery, I believe, is in that one.
Slew of Fuckery was in a different one.
The Kid Got Sodomized is one of the
Kid
chapters.
Got Sodomized was bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
All right.
I don't recall us saying exactly that.
I don't recall that either, which is weird.
You did. I edited it. I think it was you, Riley.
Did I say it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, my bad.
Sounds like something you'd
say.
Well,
the Kid Got Sodomized. I can help that.
Okay, enough of the chapters. Back to this.
Sorry.
Back to this episode. So, like I was trying to say, he's also been, so the piles of dead animals are already fucking with him. He's also he's traveling to foreign bases, foreign CIA safe houses, and he has overseen multiple attempts to erase memories and brainwash foreign enemies. And he's watched all of these drug, hypnosis, sensory deprivation methods in action to the point where he's watching people fucking dying during the course of doing this shit. Like the CIA is literally fucking murdering people, just going balls deep on all these methods to try and break them. So he's watching, war crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to say that,
He's just a
on foreign soil
chemist guy.
On foreign soil, torturing foreign adversaries to death is not okay, according to, the world. So all this shit is kind of just wearing on him. It's really fucking him up. So he steps down as the chief of the Special Operations Division, right? Mm-hmm. He's still working with the CIA. He's still working with the SOD, but he's not the chief anymore. He's still working with Project Artichoke. So in July of that same year, so that all happens. He steps down in the beginning, January, February of that year, 53, right? So January, February of 53, he steps down. That July is when the Korean War ends, right? And with the armistice agreement, and now we've got all this shit with the, what's it called? The line in Korea.
With the line of demarcation.
Line of demarcation.
The no man's land.
Yeah. There's a word that's just used for it, and I can't think of what it is right now.
There's a movie that is titled after it, and I can't remember.
Hell yeah.
What the fuck it's called.
So there's a demarcation line. Doesn't matter, Drew. It's fine. But also, part of that is
it's the military demarcation.
Demilitarized zone. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's also the name of the movie. Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. So Olsen has to travel to Europe at this time, right? He goes to UK, France, Sweden, Germany, doing fun CIA interrogation stuff, right?
Speaking of UK, how are my friends in Guernsey doing?
Yo,
Shout out Guernsey. Guernsey in the house.
We might not even be able to be saying that right.
Guernsey, maybe?
Guernsey.
Guernsey.
I live in Guernsey.
No, it's a British protector. It's got to be Guernsey.
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 Oh, yeah, I live in Guernsey.
There you go. It's got to be it.
So, all right. He goes and he's doing all this shit, you know, like I said, UK, France, Sweden, Germany. He comes back to the U.S. convinced that the U.S. is engaged or has engaged in biological warfare during the Korean War. Something happens throughout the course of this trip. He comes back and he's like, we were doing fucked up biological testing in Korea during that war, right? And his family notices a difference in him. He's just sort of something off about him, right? So he requests to speak to a high clearance level psychiatrist.
Something off about him. He's like, we're committing war crimes every day at dinner. Yeah. People are like, there's something odd about
House of dead monkeys! Oh!
You know how many dead monkeys I've had to see? You don't know.
Let me ask you, how many dead monkeys have you had to clean up in your fucking life? I can't do it anymore, man.
God damn, now I've got in the movie of this, I've just got the picture now of like him coming into work and looking sad and seeing the pile of dead monkeys, and then cut it to him standing in Korea at like a fucking like a bacterial weapon testing area, and there's a pile of actual bodies there, like human bodies, and it's just intercut, and he's like, let us hear.
Jesus. So he requests to speak to a high clearance level psychiatrist for the CIA named William Sargent. Apparently, after this conversation, William Sargent reports that Olsen might be a security threat and that maybe his access should be limited.
He's talking about these monkeys, man.
So they shelf it. They decide that they're going to keep an eye on Olsen, right? He has been at Camp Detrick for over 10 years at this point, working with the OSS, the CIA, in conjunction with German and Japanese scientists.
He knows too much.
That have come over with Operation Paperclip, testing methods for biological warfare, chemical warfare, Project Artichoke, Project MK Ultra. Dude knows a lot. So if he's a security risk, that's a problem, right? So they're going to watch him for a bit. In November of that year, 53, there is an MK Ultra retreat, or it's a retreat with several people who were linked to MK Ultra.
Oh, yeah?
Sort of around the time of MK Ultra's inception.
I got a little alarm bell kicking right here. Hey, buddy, why don't you come to this retreat with us?
Yeah. So they do this semi-monthly.
You look a little stressed.
Yeah. They do this semi-monthly at Deep Creek Lake in Maryland, right?
I was going to say it's a lake, right?
Mm-hmm. At this particular retreat,
it broke my heart, Fredo. Isn't that what he says? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, kisses him on the lips.
But then he doesn't kill him until like 20 years later.
So at this particular retreat is Frank Olsen. His new head at the SOD, the guy who took over his position as the head of the Special Operations Division, some other Camp Detrick and Special Operations Division staff, and some scientists, and several CIA staff, including Sidney Gottlieb. So it's 12 people in total, right? These are most of the guys who know about the recently approved MK Ultra project, right? So at this point, MK Ultra is so new that there's only maybe a couple dozen people who know that it's even a thing or about to be a thing. And most of them are here on this little retreat, right? So on the second to last day of this retreat, Gottlieb instructs his deputy to spike everyone with LSD. Which, you know, he and the CIA are hoping they can get the dosage right to turn LSD into a truth serum. That really is what they think LSD will ultimately be.
But everybody in the room is aware of the LSD testing, right? So once they start feeling...
No, this is around the time it starts. This is 53.
So this is like around the time they feel like they've got fucking 11 toes on each foot and they've got monkey hands growing out of their face. Like, wouldn't they just be like, oh, they fucking dosed me. This is exactly how Mike felt in the lunchroom last week.
This is, like I said, it hasn't started in earnest yet. This is when
did they try it on Ernest?
Starting now,
feeling
basically.
Real funny, you know what I mean, Vern?
I knew you were
guys. I just went to take a shit. And I looked in the toilet, and it was a pile of dead monkeys.
Everything's a pile of dead monkeys.
So, like I said, this is around the time that the LSD shit really starts going, right? So this is sort of the inception of that. So, like I said, Gottlieb tells his deputy, hey, I want you to dose everybody at this fucking party.
It's
you know, it'd be fucking hilarious.
It's fucking funny.
So Robert Lashbrook, who is the deputy, puts a shitload of LSD into a bottle of Cointreau that the men are all drinking from.
They're all drinking from a bottle of Cointreau?
They're not like They're
making margaritas?
They're pouring Cointreau and just
Cointreau
drinking.
on ice.
Probably. So
Gross.
it's a different time, man.
Yeah, everybody really liked sugary liqueurs back then. I can imagine what the hangovers
Are you telling me
were
you've
like.
never done a shot of fucking Grand Marnier?
Oh, I've done hundreds and hundreds of shots of Grand Marnier, but I've also like never. No, that's not true. I drank like Aperol on the rocks
God.
one night straight, and I had the worst hangover of my life. So I can only imagine what
Sounds like it.
just Cointreau on ice.
Probably pretty bad. So also you got involuntarily dosed with LSD at the same time. And who knows how much. That's the thing is like, okay, I'm not a fan of psychedelics.
And I think we mentioned on the show before that when you're preparing like LSD for distribution, you just put like 5 drops on a piece of paper.
Okay. I like psychedelics, but here's the thing. If I'm ever going to do them, all of the things, all of the environment has to be right. What I've got to do tomorrow has to be like, so many things have to line up for me to be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm actually at a point now where I think that I'm done with psychedelics for probably life. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm done.
I mean,
barring something fucking crazy
for
happening.
me, it's like once every 2
Barring,
years.
I go to a convention and somebody slips a bunch of LSD in the fucking punch bowl.
You're at a retreat with the CIA.
Yeah.
But we're talking pure LSD. We're talking about guys who don't know about fucking dosage. Like I also know exactly how many mushrooms or how much LSD is going to be a fun time and how much is going to be like, this is going to be crazy.
Right.
I don't know. I don't want crazy anymore.
Yeah, no thanks.
A little bit for a fun time is fine. So these guys are probably taking just copious amounts of pure LSD without knowing about it. Has got to be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's wild.
So Olsen goes home the next day.
Because any listeners who have never experimented with hallucinogens, you should know before you ever do that the experience can flip very, very quickly at a moment's notice. You can be having...
It's all about your mindset.
You can be having literally the time of your life, and then something innocuous could happen that would just change the entire mood and tenor of the evening.
Yeah, well, that happens to me about halfway through a trip anyways. I no longer... I go from wanting to have happy fun time with the people that I'm hanging out with. I need to be by myself now, to now I need to isolate and just put on some music and close
I've always
my eyes.
equated it to much like a movie. Like everything's got movie lighting and mood music essentially at the with whatever you're feeling.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like when somebody's having a good time at a party, then realize that they've been drugged, like the lighting is gonna go real like green and blue and everything's gonna get real jagged and Tim Burton real quick. I don't like that.
I never... Well, the character I played it was always a very solitary thing for me.
I'm a solitary guy myself.
As far as psychedelics.
Mine was for me, it was always it had to just kind of be me and the core group.
Sure, if there's somebody you're really close with.
Yeah, it was.
Like I definitely tripped with like significant others and stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand people who go to like a big concert or like a music festival or something.
Yeah, I never even liked smoking weed in those environments.
Yeah.
Like that was a very solitary
I
thing
had an experience like that with some fellas. You know who I'm talking about. But I had a big concert some time ago, and it was actually pretty rad, but also very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In the concert itself, it was amazing. And then when it was time to go like to the bathroom or something, ooh,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Not for me. So, okay, back to Frank Olsen, right? Olsen goes home the next day, real fucked up. And
dead monkeys everywhere.
He does not recover. He allegedly gets home, and he's super distant from his family. He's not speaking to them. He's not eating. At some point, he reportedly tells his wife, "I've made a terrible mistake," and doesn't really elaborate on it.
Like Arrested Development. I've made a terrible mistake.
So 3 days later, he goes back to work, and he's still like in his head, he's still fucked up, right? He asks his boss, Vincent Rouet, who was at the retreat. That's the new head of the SOD, right? Who was also at that retreat. If Rouet wants to fire him or if he should just quit. His boss manages to talk him down. He's like, look, it's fine, whatever. And so he stays for the rest of the day, goes home. The next day,
they shoot him.
He leaves for work and then comes back home around noon with a colleague. And he explains to his wife that the coworker is there with him because, quote, they're afraid I might hurt you. So he explains to her that he's going to New York for psychological treatment, right? Something's wrong. He's going to go talk to a shrink, right? That same day, Frank Olsen, Rouet, who's his boss, and Robert Lashbrook, the CIA chemist and Gottlieb's deputy that dosed everybody, they all fly to New York to visit Dr. Harold Abramson.
Later that day?
Later that day.
He got all these people together to get on a plane to go to New York on a moment's notice because this guy's leaving his job.
Yeah. So Dr. Abramson also worked for the CIA. He's also a high clearance, high level guy for the CIA, right? 4 days later at 2 a.m., Frank Olsen is dead on the sidewalk after allegedly jumping from the 10th floor window at his room in the Statler Hotel in New York.
God damn.
There are a few things.
Is this part of New York and Russia?
But this is the movie trope I'm talking about, is this sort of like CIA intrigue. Did he really jump, or did he know too much sort of thing?
Right,
you know what I mean? Like, so even though you maybe have never heard Frank Olsen's name per se, or you don't know this specific story, like I said, this whole driver is very woven into these like sort of clandestine, these movies that are about, espionage and shit like that. It's a very like,
and that one's
it's a very Trumpy
That's a
thing.
good one too, because like, there's a big differential between like, maybe he did kill himself because he did too many drugs and he felt too bad and he's got guilt and all this stuff, or maybe like fucking got tossed out a window. I wouldn't be able to pinpoint which one happened.
Well, we're gonna go through some things too before you make your final judgment. I will say that he did have some previous issues when he was younger, where maybe he was suicidal, maybe he was, there was an existing at least point in time, but this guy's a war veteran, so a lot of people came back from World War II real fucked up. You know what I mean? So a few things stand out about this suicide.
I didn't mean to kill myself. I thought that pile of dead monkeys would break my fall.
Well, for one, Olsen is sharing a room with Robert Lashbrook.
Mm-hmm.
So unless he...
Lashbrook's the one that dosed everybody?
Yep.
He's a chemist.
Yep. So unless Frank Olsen got up out of bed and just silently jumped, you would think somebody having that moment where they're like, I'm going to kill myself right now. Like in my head at least, it's not a just get up silently and go.
That's actually exactly how I picture it.
Is it?
Yeah. I figure like once you've like made that decision, there's not a lot of deliberation. It's like,
if you've actually made the decision.
If you've made the decision,
yes.
yeah.
If you're like, I'm 100% doing this. If you're on the fence, it's usually, at least in my experience, there's something very outward about it.
Right. There's something that would have alerted Lashbrook to, okay, this guy's losing it.
They fucking threw him.
Did you ever see that?
I'm saying it.
Did you ever see that documentary about San Francisco Bridge, about all the people that jump off of it every year?
Yes, I have.
There's that one guy who like fucking no hesitation.
Yeah,
like,
get up, stands up on the fucking railing and just...
no hesitation. Woof.
Yeah.
He was smoking a cigarette on his way up. He's pissed off.
Leather jacket, long hair guy. Yeah,
he fucking
I know
flicks
exactly
the cigarette, gets up, boom, done.
Crazy. So if that version of the story is true, okay, that he just got up silently and just went through the window, there's a hotel staffer, I think he was the night manager of the hotel, commented later, quote, "In all my years in the hotel business, I've never encountered a case where someone got up in the middle of the night, ran across a dark room in his underwear, avoiding two beds, and dove through a closed window with the shade and curtains drawn."
Oh shit! There's a closed window, so like there's glass.
Yeah, this is just a pane. It's like a hotel today, which is
how we did.
Pane of glass.
They're saying he just fucking
jumped through.
He went through the pane of glass.
They
By the way,
killed him.
It's a dark room.
Yeah.
The shades and curtain are drawn.
Yeah.
And he got up silently, ran between two beds, and right through the fucking shades, curtain, window.
No way.
They either killed him or they dosed him really hard once he got there. Hard enough for him to fucking, like, nobody does it like that.
But like, also, like, they're just little like rational things there that cause problem. Like,
well, there's more.
If you're not gonna just jump straight through a window to kill yourself. You would, if you were gonna do it and you were dedicated, you throw a chair through first or something.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, at least open the way so you're not cutting yourself.
What if you just hit the window and bounce off? You're like, god damn it! Do you lose it right then and there? You're like, okay, fine.
What is that? I
guess I'll go home to my family.
It's a movie, Hudsucker Proxy. Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, but so there's more. There's more. By the way, when the police arrive, they find Robert Lashbrook in the bathroom, sitting on the toilet with his head in his hands.
Like taking a shit?
No. I think he's just sitting on like the toilet lid.
Waiting for the cops to
I don't
get
think
there.
he was. Yeah, he was just sitting there. He tells the cops that he didn't hear anything until the shattered. Right. They also find out there was an outgoing.
He didn't hear anything until four other guys came in and grabbed Frank by each limb and tossed him through the
and
window.
then said, "You didn't fucking hear anything."
They also find out that there was an outgoing call from the room after Olsen's death. So from the bedroom, to Dr. Abronson's phone number, and the hotel switch operator listened to the call. It's the 50s, baby. We've got switch operators.
All right.
And she happened to listen to the call, which was super brief.
The monkeys have piled.
The pile has been disposed of. I repeat, the pile has been disposed of. So the person who made the call, probably Robert Lashbrook, right? Said,
Maybe probably if supposedly the only other person in that room.
supposedly, right? So the person who made the call said, well, he's gone. To which the person on the other line of Dr. Abronson's phone said, well, that's too bad. That was the end of the call. Click.
Oh, that's too bad.
In the aftermath of this, the family was pretty much just told that he suffered a mental breakdown and committed suicide, right? This is in 1953. It wasn't until 1975 that some of the MK Ultra documents came to light, and we'll find out later why. Only some of the MK Ultra documents have come to light. We only have a part of what was the full scope of the project. It wasn't until 1975 that the documents detailing Frank Olsen being secretly dosed on LSD came out. So they find out 22 years after his death that a few days before this all happened, he was secretly dosed by the CIA.
Fuck.
And that the CIA was watching him, that the CIA thought that he might be a fucking security threat.
God, what a fucking nightmare week. Like last week of your life
years
that must
later.
be.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
like
no shit.
just already feeling guilt, having gone through all this shit, and then getting fucking secret dosed, and then going through the
Window.
just before that, the step-by-step paranoia playbook
Yeah.
of like,
That's why this is why I told you to reserve judgment.
yeah,
for a
exactly.
second.
Fucking, like he goes to work and somebody tells him like, we're gonna have somebody come with you to your house because we're afraid you're dangerous. And he's like, fuck, am I dangerous? I don't know. I feel like I'm crazy right now.
Yeah.
They take him like
Jesus.
piling into a fucking car with your boss and the head of the fucking CIA murder people department. And
So the government ended up settling with the family for, this is in the 70s, so it seems
$15
like not a lot, but $750,000.
right.
And they received an apology from Gerald Ford, and the CIA.
Oh, sorry, we drugged your dad and he killed
Yeah,
himself.
I wasn't even in politics at the time. I was fucking 28 years old. So, and the CIA director at the time, a guy named William Colby, all apologized to the family, blah, blah, blah. So there has been a lot that came out since 75 also. In 1994, Frank Olsen's sons had his body exhumed to put him, like their mother died. And so they exhumed his body to put him to rest with their mother. While they had his body out, they were like, you know what? Let's have an independent autopsy and not the CIA autopsy report.
Just for fun. Just a little fun one.
Yeah.
But like 40 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
41 years later. So the doctor found that Olsen had no slices on his body, like what would have occurred from jumping through a plate glass window.
Right.
He also had a chest injury and an area of his skull that suffered blunt force trauma. Both of these injuries probably not from the fall.
Ooh.
So like I remember hearing, like I was listening to something, the blunt force trauma on his skull was like almost perfectly the shape of the butt of a gun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So they
Like the
come
butt of a
in,
pistol.
they pick him up, they punch him in the chest, they clock him in the head with the gun, somebody bashes out the window, and they toss him off the balcony.
Yep.
Because also, even CIA goons will tell you, it's hard to throw a person through a goddamn window.
They just bounce off and you're like,
Yeah.
God damn it. I guess we'll try again later. It also came to light that Olsen had a security detail at the hotel who, quote, had to leave that night to, quote, take care of his mother. Right. So he left the security of Olsen to a bellhop named Jacques Voignier, who is a bellhop at the Statler Hotel, but he's also a French career criminal and high-ranking member of Union Corse, which was a French organized network that was real big on heroin trafficking. And this is a high-ranking member that's just working as a bellhop.
Why not?
Sounds interesting, right?
What the fuck?
Do not worry, I will take care of you, friend.
Also interesting to note, the CIA's first...
You have to go home, your mother is sick. I will
just
take care of
smoking a
him.
cigarette.
Yes, I will take care of your friend.
mother needs your assistance. Goodbye. Also interesting to note, the CIA's first manual of assassination, which is apparently a thing that they have, states that, quote, the most efficient accident in simple assassination is a fall of 75 feet or more onto a hard surface.
Yeah, because your shit's just pulverized, basically.
So, yeah, this is why the CIA tossing motherfuckers through a window off a rooftop or whatever is a film trope.
Classic.
Well, at that time, by the 90s, they could probably be a little more like when it happened in the 50s, they would have been like, oh, they fell out, all these other injuries.
Yeah.
You got them in the fall.
Right.
The 90s, I feel like maybe they'd be able to dig a little deeper into the forensics of the situation or something.
Yeah, well, for sure. But I mean, also back then, you could just be like, he was hysterical. He was having a breakdown.
Yeah.
He was shell shocked from the war.
Yeah. He was seeing piles of dead monkeys everywhere.
So I've got a fun fact for you. Are you familiar with Boston crime boss Whitey Bulger?
I was positive you were about to say Boston cream donuts. And I was going to say, as a matter of fact, I am.
I had 3 today. Are you familiar with Whitey Bulger?
Yes, I am. I actually, fun fact about me, I was questioned one time about the whereabouts of Whitey Bulger.
Why?
That's true. There was so like he had disappeared for many years and was like on the run and nobody knew where he was. So like there was
living in California.
Yeah, it was a nationwide manhunt. But like
for decades,
the big suspicions were either Florida or California.
Okay,
because I guess he liked to fucking
somebody just walking around the streets like, have you seen Whitey Bulger? Have you seen Whitey Bulger? Have you seen Whitey Bulger?
While I was working at a restaurant, Hurricane Patty's in St. Augustine, there's an old man that would come there a lot that just like kind of looked like him. So somebody
they're showing you a picture of Whitey Bulger.
Whitey Bulger.
Well, no, that was part of my. I fucked up my joke. They're showing you a picture of a guy of Whitey Bulger. And you're like, well, I know a guy who looks like him, but his name's Dwighty Folger. I don't. So it can't.
So there was just this old guy that would drink there pretty often, and somebody called in a suspicion of him being Whitey Bulger. So
no, that's Dwighty Folger. I know that guy. He's a nice guy. Tips well.
I can't remember his name actually, but like a fucking like a FBI agent came in and like talked to the staff.
Huh?
Yeah. Something.
Cool.
Yeah.
What'd you tell them? Did you tell them where he was?
I said, that's him.
Get him, Whitey Folger. So, did you know that Whitey Bulger was an MK Ultra test subject?
I did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I. He was jailed in Atlanta in the 50s, and he was offered a lighter sentence if he participated in a study to find a cure for schizophrenia.
Oh.
And so that's what he was told. And it was sold to him very much as like, listen, you do something good for society and we'll lighten your sentence. Okay.
Yeah, we'll let you go scot-free. You'll have an unrelenting and insatiable thirst for blood.
He was dosed over 50 times by the CIA along with other prisoners and their reactions monitored.
With LSD?
With LSD. They would also be asked questions like, while they were tripping, they would be asked questions like, would you ever kill somebody? This is all according to Whitey Bulger. So this is just his side of the story. But I mean, it sounds like the CIA's MO, right? Would you ever give you secretly dose you with a bunch of LSD and be like, would you ever kill anybody? Do you want to kill anybody?
How would you do it?
Yeah. Shrimp necklace.
What's heavier, yellow or blue?
So
if you were to jump through a window.
How big is milk?
How big is milk?
If you were going to jump through a window, how would you do it?
He also
shoulder first? Chair
with
first.
the assistance of a Frenchman.
Have you ever seen piles of dead monkeys?
He also claimed that he had never murdered anybody until after these experiments, right? He said actually a lot of things after he was convicted in 2013, right? I think 2 life sentences or something like that. But he sent over 70 letters to one of the jurors in his trial and outlined all of the things that happened when he was a test subject for the CIA. I'm only going to read one of the quotes.
Can you read it like your old Whitey Bulger from Boston?
I don't know what he sounds. Oh, I can do a Boston. I can do an old Boston guy.
There you go.
Okay.
You want to put like an old timey radio filter on it?
No.
Oh, Whitey Bulger was kind of contemporary.
Yeah,
I guess. All right.
So this is Whitey Bulger. Quote: in minutes, the drug would take over, and about 8 or 9 men.
It's not bad. It's better than Johnny Depp.
Dr. Pfeiffer and the several men in suits who were not doctors would give us tests and see how we reacted. Most of these guys were wicked queer. No, I'm kidding. That wasn't part of it. I'm sorry. 8 convicts in a panic and paranoid state. Total loss of appetite. Hallucinating. The room would change shape. Hours of paranoia and feeling violent. We experienced horrible periods of living nightmares and even blood coming out of the walls. Guys turning into skeletons in front of me. I saw a camera change into the head of a dog. I felt like I was going insane.
You didn't make any of that
quote.
up.
Huh?
Pretty good.
That was the actual.
No, that
quote.
was the actual quote.
Saw
Everything,
camera turn into the head of it. That's
everything but the guys are wicked queer was all at the actual quote.
Blood on the walls and shit. That's fun.
Spotify chapter. The guys were wicked queer. So
I kind of love this new dynamic.
Dude,
Like I'm gonna look forward to it every fucking
like
week.
I said,
Like
we've
how
talked.
we're trying to trigger chapter episodes.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've talked about
Big
the
dicks
worst
boners,
things.
Big dicks boners. Big dicks boners.
No, we've already had that one.
Big
I
dicks
wonder-
boners part 2. Big dicks boners part 2.
I wonder if I can somehow trigger it. Like, wait, I'm not gonna tell you my plan.
Okay,
never,
don't
never
tell me
mind.
your
Never
plan.
mind.
Okay,
this will
okay.
be fun.
I think I know what you're gonna do.
Big dicks boners part 2. Big dicks boners part 2.
God damn it, shut up. So he claimed that from that time, from when he was part of this fucking whatever CIA test,
It's horrible.
it was horrible. From that point forward, he was plagued with nightmares. He would have to sleep with lights on. He would wake up every hour. He would suffer waking hallucinations. And yeah, so that's, interesting. There's also speculation that Charles Manson was an MK Ultra test subject.
Yeah, that guy was taking the LSD on his own.
Well, it was
He was
mostly
gonna get there either way.
the speculation is that the methods that he used to get all of his followers, all these fucking teenage, fucking suburban kids, to like completely disassociate and basically worship him.
Yeah, whatever. It
that he
doesn't,
used a lot of the
doesn't take
same
a fucking
methods.
rocket scientist to know that if you drug and fuck teenagers, you're going to mess with their heads.
That's true too.
Like, you fucking kind of got that one. Take them out to the desert, drug them, and fuck them.
Yeah.
What do you tell them that they're part of the family?
Right. So let's run down a handful of MK Ultra sub-projects, shall we? Let's get a nice rundown of exactly what our government was willing to do to program an agency asset to assassinate political targets. We'll do a few of them. Our time is limited, and I really want to keep this to 2 episodes. We could do so many parts of this. I mean, this shit goes so fucking deep. It's crazy, but we just want to do 2 episodes. So if there is a real clamoring for more in the future, we could do a part 3 like down the road. But we're, like I said, we're also going to do our monthly mini. That's going to be some MK Ultra related shit too. So Project 23, Michael Jordan. They made Michael Jordan. No, I'm kidding. Subproject 23.
That was his jersey number, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Even Riley has to know that.
I knew
one.
that one.
Okay, all right.
So Subproject
Michael Jordan,
23.
golfer, right?
Yeah. A baseball
The
player.
baseball player?
Baseball
Yeah,
player,
they
yeah.
Was his baseball number 23 as well?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
It would
yeah.
have to be.
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
I forget who he played for.
I don't know.
The Mariners?
The Marlins?
No, I think the Mariners. Seattle.
Come on, Marlins.
So Subproject 23.
He was
1 strike, 2 strikes, swing away.
he was 45 in baseball.
Yeah.
Nah.
Who did he play for? What? You just asked me.
San Francisco.
Birmingham
Michael-
Barons.
Birmingham Barons.
Which was
Birmingham
with
Barons.
I think the Mariners AAA team.
Ah, okay.
Stolen
That's a minor. So all the minor
base.
league teams in
Yeah.
baseball are.
If anyone who doesn't
part of a-
anyone doesn't know what I'm singing there, that is the Marlins theme song by Scott Stapp of Creed, known as Marlins.
Marlins
Soar.
soar, which is not what fish do. Flying fish, I guess, but Marlins are not flying fish.
Little faith and love,
They're
you will soar.
it's
You
so
know-
bad.
I liked Creed better when they were Pearl Jam.
Wow. R.I.P. Christoph. Okay, so Subproject 23 was synthesizing chemicals at the University of Richmond to test on animals to see if they could control them. They would test the toxicity of compounds and how they'd affect all types of things medically, right? They'd take the blood pressures and yada, 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 yada. The ones that were most promising were okayed to be used on human test subjects.
Lovely, lovely.
Any guess on who they chose to unwittingly test these chemicals on?
I'm going to say marginalized black communities.
I'm gonna say prisoners.
Cancer patients.
Ah,
that,
damn.
That makes way more
Swing
sense.
and a miss.
Yeah, I guess the Nazis weren't the only ones doing fucking horrible shit. Well, these compounds work pretty well on these fucking animals. Let's use them on cancer patients.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. So let's see. Subproject 87, conducted at Johns Hopkins University, was for research in the general field of allergens, with emphasis on the selection and purification of the most potent sensitizers and allergens. They were studying this in conjunction with general adaptation syndrome, which is a theory about how people respond to stress.
Why allergens? Are you gonna get into that?
I'm going to give you
Okay.
the translation right now. They were trying to find the best allergens to disperse to make people's stress levels go nuts
Oh, interesting.
as part of this breaking people down.
Yeah,
you know?
Interesting.
That plus drugs, plus sensory deprivation, plus hypnosis, plus. The more things we can do to fuck people's brains up.
Yeah, plus,
Right?
I mean, doing this to people who are already taking radiation treatments and
Well, this one wasn't with kids. This is a separate sub project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, by the way, did no one listen to these fucking crazy ass ideas and say like, you guys know this shit sounds insane, right?
Yeah, but they also probably were like, this sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Give me another tab of acid, bro.
Yeah.
They were all dosing themselves. So they're like, yeah, man, let's just.
I mean, to be real, like
My allergies are acting up. You want some Claritin? No, just give me acid, dude. I'm probably fine.
to be real analytical about this kind of thing, though, like we've mentioned before on the podcast that like continued and prolonged use of hallucinogens creates a differential perception
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
of what you're doing. It creates a differential morality, a differential just like look at everything.
It changes your perception of everything.
Exactly.
Everything entirely.
Your appreciation of art and music and shit all changes. So like your thought process will change. It is not in any way inconceivable to think that people who had very recently done large amounts of hallucinogens, even if they were feeling fine, would have a completely warped thought process when it comes to approaching something like
I
this.
just don't understand how let's torture people. That sounds crazy to me, but
We get like
that would sound crazy to me regardless, even
Yeah.
if I had never done hallucinogens.
you get too into anything, drugs, drinking. Like once that's intrinsic in your like,
Once that's like part of your fucking,
once that's a part of your life,
makeup,
it's it becomes like everything kind of becomes about that.
Yeah.
Like I remember that as like a alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Me as
where
well.
everything kind of revolves around that.
Recently, I've gone out like hanging out
like
with
what
people.
you don't drink? Fuck you. You
Yeah,
know,
I got friends in
yeah,
town.
quit
and,
being a pussy.
Yeah.
like
That's my
yeah.
favorite.
So I could see where that would, when it's a focus of your work at
Yeah,
that time
yeah.
too, where you could be like, yeah, maybe this will work. Okay, yeah, fuck. What were we saying, Riley?
I was saying, like, I've got friends in town, like, friend of the podcast, Tim Valley, is in town right now. And I've been out, like, hanging out with him and some of his friends. And, like, when I was a drinker, I was very, like, socially gregarious and, like, you know, would go out and, like, energetically, like, be a part of the crowd. Now, I am not that at all. I don't want to fucking do any of this shit. Like, I
Same.
don't want to go out, for one, but I also
Yeah.
don't want to talk to these dickheads for the most part.
I just, I think it's funny, you know, like you were mentioning, like pressuring people to drink. That shit cracked as an adult for somebody to be like, oh, what, you're not drinking? What, are you being a pussy? Like, you're not going to what are you, in fucking high school? You're not
That's
gonna
a big reason I stopped hanging out with all my pothead friends.
Yeah.
Because I hit a point where pot didn't do it for me anymore pretty early, like
Yeah.
18, 19.
Yeah.
And everybody like, well, you're not going to smoke? Are you fucking gay or something? You know? And I'm like, no, I just don't like it. And I especially don't like being pressured into it.
Yeah,
So-
I don't care. I'm not gonna fucking. I'm not gonna crater to. We're not in fucking high school, dude. I don't
Exactly.
care. How about this? I said, I'm fine to hang out with you. You can drink. I don't want to drink. Shut the fuck up and either drink or fuck off.
I will say,
Those are
though,
your options.
That's why I
'cause
don't
I'm
mind
not gonna
hanging out
yeah.
with you, because you're having a beer here, and
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
There
it's
is-
not a
you're
trigger for
over
me.
here. You're rubbing it in our face. You're doing public, like getting
Fucking
drunker and
asshole.
drunker. And be like, hey, what do you
Take a
guys
sip.
do?
Take a sip. Take a sip. Take a sip.
Remember how fun it was?
Drew edits all that out, but I get real aggressive.
Come on, just drink it. Just a little. Just you don't even have to swallow it. Just spit it out.
Let my arms go. Stop.
But I will say, there's a chance I would cave into peer pressure if it was like a CIA agent in a suit offering me acid.
That's true.
But
yeah.
like specifically, not if he was just like, you have to take it for the country. If he was like, come on, man, don't be a bitch. I'd be like,
This is CIA acid, dude. Are you really gonna say no?
straight out the lab. You're gonna see God.
Okay, all right. Let's jump back into some more sub-projects here. Several sub-projects were annotated as basic LSD research. These include sub-project 7, 27, and 40. In some of these, it appears that subjects were willing and were paid, but we also know that that was not always the case, like not even close. So Brigadier General Paul Gaynor, who headed Project Artichoke and MK Ultra. So this was, just to sort of break it all down, right? Alan Dulles was the head of the CIA in general.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Gaynor was the head of MK Ultra. Sidney Gottlieb was the head chemist of MK Ultra, right? Just so these are our top dogs,
assholes.
top dogs.
I do always think about like the CIA when people are in positions like that, where they're like, I'm the head of this project and this project. I always think like, well, what do you actually do? Like, if you're being given these projects, there's like you should have a job first, and then they're like, hey, we're gonna attach these projects to you.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
They stand
do?
around and get report. And they're like, Okay, continue.
Smoke a pipe.
Very well.
Bob,
Oh, yeah.
did you put LSD in my coffee?
Bob?
So Brigadier General Paul Gaynor, who, like I said, was the head of Project Artichoke and MK Ultra, openly spoke of using, quote, weaker and less intelligent segments of society. In the 1950s, that verbiage is very important. Not individuals in society, segments of society.
So again, this is going to be like lower income black areas,
non-white minorities, homosexuals, and we already
stupid gays.
Yeah. We already know that they were going to town on prisoners of war, but that was one of his.
Well, I guess stupid gays, stupid gays.
Oh my God! Don't
fuck. No, we don't want that one.
So, but Gaynor felt that, this was his quote. It is imperative that the CIA move forward more aggressively on identifying and securing a reliable, ready group or groups of human research subjects on ongoing experimentation, which means that the mentally challenged, the mentally ill, quote, undesirable aliens, right? So people from black and brown countries.
I think we as Americans in this day and age know what that means.
Yeah. He even arranged for over 4,000 U.S. military personnel serving court-martial sentences from the war to be experimented on without their knowledge or consent because, the 13th Amendment that abolished slavery has a nice little carve out there for if you're in prison.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we're not going to make the blanket statement that, institutionalized slavery is a part of the criminal justice system. That'd be crazy.
No, I would would not say that in
forcing thousands and thousands of people to do free labor.
I would never say out loud that post Civil War and post abolishment of slavery, that the military industrial complex came up with the idea of Jim Crow to prosecute and jail black people at an alarmingly large rate.
Yeah, and I certainly wouldn't say in the same vein that the reason that there are higher rates of black and brown people being incarcerated is that we're still like
and that their sentences for the same crimes as non-black and brown people seem to be much stiffer and more difficult, and that the prison system profits off of the labor of these people because the 13th Amendment carved out that if you are a prisoner, you can be a slave too.
And I would never say that the rise of for-profit privately owned prisons is directly profiting off of the servitude of incarcerated people.
And a direct result of all the things we just mentioned. We would never say that.
That's crazy.
That's too deep, man.
I'll say it. Y'all fucking racist.
Okay, so there are a couple more stories.
I'll say it.
There are a couple more stories that I definitely want to discuss because this has the potential to go for fucking 10 hours if we keep going down the rabbit hole. So firstly, I want to talk about Subproject 3. This was field testing of subjects with a range of drugs without their knowledge or permission, right? So this is spiking subjects in public, and there's some honeypot action involved. This one is known as...
They got Winnie the Pooh too?
This is known as Project Midnight Climax.
Project Midnight Climax.
Project Midnight Climax.
God damn. I'm already getting a boner.
A little chubbed up, yeah.
So Sidney Gottlieb conceived this idea in 1954. So again, early MK Ultra, right? And he tasked the running of it to a guy named George Hunter White, right? That's who he's got running it. White is a federal narcotics agent and CIA consultant, and we're going to jump into that swimming pool of beans in a second. So that's bigger than a can of beans.
Swimming pool of beans, swimming pool of beans, swimming pool of beans.
So
maybe we need more voices.
We probably we probably just got Operation Midnight Climax for sure. But so Midnight Climax begins in New York.
About 11:45.
48. It begins in New York. The CIA purchases a safe house in Greenwich Village for tests to be conducted in, right? George Hunter White, in spite of being a fucking narc, is real keen on booze and drugs. And to conduct these experiments, he's got to go into the seedy underbelly of New York. He's got to find test subjects.
Right.
And so he's going to go kind of make friends with a lot of people who are living on the fringes of society, you know, like writers and drug dealers,
junkies, whores,
prostitutes. Yeah, a lot of prostitutes. Well, prostitutes are important for Midnight Climax.
You don't say.
Both literally and figuratively. So because their idea for Midnight Climax is to set the safe house up as a brothel, they're going to put the prostitutes on the CIA's payroll.
Right.
And then they can either dose the Johns or they have the ladies dose the Johns, right? And and then that way they can watch through two-way mirrors as these people have sex while unwittingly dosed on acid. And then the ladies are supposed to question the men post-coitus to see if they can get them to admit to things, crimes or, you know, whatever. They also have them request.
Baby, that was so good. Hey, did you rob that liquor store on 49th last year?
Baby, that was amazing. Would you like to kill my father? Because they also request, they also have them, you know, have the ladies see if they can get the Johns to do shit for them criminally, right? So
the ladies are like, I mean, I guess I can as long as you slide me some of that acid.
So this is just another way of using drugs and I guess post-sex psychological fuckery.
God, those girls probably made so much fucking money off of that. Can you imagine government funding for prostitution? Like, there's already so much government waste.
Plus, what do you tell the Johns? No, don't pay me. Don't worry. It's taking care.
No,
somebody pick this one up for you, big boy.
They get that money as a tip, but also, like, any itemized receipts for anything that they want. It's like, it's all part of the fucking. I got to... You need the
itemized receipts.
Need the shaving, the waxing. This is my per diem request.
Yeah.
Here's my lodging.
So somewhere in
just buying tons of Fiachi fucking lingerie.
Yeah,
somewhere in the records of the United States,
there is a huge receipt for lube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to go.
It's filed under Project CI Anal.
Project CI Anal. Project CI Anal. Project CI Anal.
Jesus Christ. So
this was also an excuse for them to just perv out on the other side of the mirror,
too. Also, to fuck prostitutes, I'd imagine. I imagine all those agents are like, I mean, we got to test the goods.
So White loves secretly dosing people with LSD, by the way. And he does a lot of it. Him and his wife secretly administer LSD to house guests without their knowledge. So they're having little fucking house parties.
It's like all these people are really into this.
Dosing everybody's fucking shit with LSD. He would also slip LSD into coworkers' food or drinks. He would slip LSD to total acquaintances. In at least a couple of incidences, people had to be hospitalized.
Yeah.
Oh, and remember Frank Olsen?
Yes.
You remember his security detail that had to leave in the middle of the night to take care of his mom?
Yeah.
That's George Hunter White.
No shit.
Oh.
Yep. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think
that's the guy who left.
Yeah.
And
left him in the care of the Frenchman.
Said, hey, I'm this guy's security detail, bellhop, but can you watch him for me? Bellhop that's strangely very high up in fucking French mafia heroin trafficking. So weird. You couldn't fucking write this shit. It's crazy.
Don't worry, I left him in the care of one of the bad guys from that movie Taken.
But George Hunter White is crushing it hard with Midnight Climax. So hard. He's crushing it so hard.
Oh my God, I've got to get in on selling boner pills named Midnight Climax. That's too good. It's a sweet combination of dick stiffness and LSD.
So he's doing so well with it that they end up expanding and getting some West Coast operations in the mix. So I guess he's crushing his job of slipping drugs into unwilling horny dudes' drinks.
Hell yeah.
And then watching them fuck prostitutes. What a demanding job. What a difficult. I mean, well, I guess morally, it's a difficult job.
I would bet you that the CIA has to categorize everything so clearly that they got semen samples from every single one of those Johns.
Ew.
So whose job was that?
Ew.
Those are the real American heroes.
You're right.
Yeah. So they expand out to a couple of safe houses in California where they play this out on an even larger scale, right? Eventually they have a safe house that's running narcotics. They've got multiple brothels. The prostitutes are cool with it because they're being paid by the Johns, being paid by the CIA. And it doesn't take long before the local cops know who George's girls are. And so
they're not getting hassled by
they're
the cops.
safe from arrest. They're saying that they're doing CIA shit, man. Don't arrest them.
Back off, copper. I'm a government employee.
Yeah. You want a blowjob?
I got clearance higher than yours.
I fuck for America. So this shit just absolutely blows up, right? The safe houses basically... The safe houses basically Riley and Drew just saluted each other from across the which is why we all giggled. So the safe houses basically become social clubs for agents, for law enforcement, for military, and just for like homies.
So these are just brothels now. It's not even like, it's no longer just the experiment. They were just like, this is so much fun. Let's bring the guys over.
Yeah, they show up. They do a bunch of drugs. They have something that they called 8 martini lunches. White loved gin. So George White absolutely loved gin, and notably, anytime he had like company
Fucking
or like people over,
martinis. That's so many martinis.
he would mix up 2 pitchers of martinis, one for everybody to share and one for himself. And yeah, they used to have quote unquote 8 martini lunches. So yeah, they'd show up, they'd do a bunch of drugs, they'd drink a bunch of martinis.
I'm a drinking martini guy myself.
And go fucking figure, they'd bang a bunch of prostitutes.
Yeah. Once you're about half a pitcher of martinis deep, that sounds like a great idea.
And George White, by the way, at this point is just dosing total strangers in public. At the beach.
Half fucking...
Hey, can I shake your hand?
At the beach.
Fully in
at
the bag
restaurants.
on martinis.
Yeah.
Just walking down the street going, hee hee hee.
Just going to the beach and like fucking throwing LSD and shit at bars, at restaurants.
People.
Yeah. So Mountain Dew Midnight Climax ran from 1954 to 1965.
Mountain Dew Midnight Climax.
I'm glad you caught it. I tried to slip it in there real sneaky like. It ran from
Just like George White.
Oh,
Hey.
It ran from 54 to 65 before it was shut down. And let's be fucking honest, they learned nothing.
No.
They did nothing to make the U.S. safer.
They learned how many prostitutes they could bang at an 8 martini lunch.
This was a massive waste of time and money.
So that 8 martini
and did
lunch
not do anything.
That 8 martini lunch is like from noon to like 9 o'clock in the evening. That's
oh my
like
God. Oh my God. Okay, so last story I want to talk about has to do with our guy, Ewan Cameron. Remember him? Dr. Ewan Cameron?
Yes.
This was, I guess, I don't want to call him our guy. You'll know why pretty soon. Cameron.
their guy. He's their guy.
Yeah. Cameron was the psychiatrist that believed that psychiatric disorders were biologically hardwired in our brains. Remember?
Right.
Yeah,
he didn't
yeah.
believe. Yeah. He's the guy whose professional opinion about SS officer Rudolf Hess was that he just had crazy long amnesia, man. And he suddenly snapped out of it after World War II.
I don't
ended.
remember any of the war.
Yeah. So I'm going to end at the beginning, right? You may recall his last stop was at McGill University in Montreal on an invite from Dr. Penfield, right?
Dr. Penfield.
Have you
Penfield, yeah.
have you heard of the Montreal experiments or the term the Montreal experiments?
Yeah, I believe that was the Montreal Canadiens teams from the 1940s to the 1970s.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
They won every fucking award hockey had to offer. They were the greatest period of hockey playing in the history
the
of
Montreal
the world.
experiments, huh?
Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, the Canadians. No.
You not know the Canadiens?
Yeah, I do.
Because you called them the Canadians.
Whatever. I live in America.
They're French.
I don't care.
This is America.
You don't say every French word.
But they are
In a
the
French
Canadiens.
Okay.
We have had this argument before.
Several times.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Watch this. Riley, where are you from?
That's why.
Not the first time on the podcast I've asked him that. Okay, so to end at the beginning, right? So he's last stop, McGill University in Montreal. He's there on an invite from Penfield, and he gets to McGill University in 1954, right? When he gets there, he was searching for a cure for schizophrenia. And by all accounts, he was revered as a really sweet, personable, genuinely caring research with an actual passion for trying to cure schizophrenia. In 1957 is when the CIA gets involved with his research, and he gets on that sweet ass CIA payroll, same one as the prostitutes, and things take a turn for the considerably more barbaric, right? This dude did something called depatterning. Would you like to hear probably the worst part of this episode?
Yeah.
Yes.
He was working on brainwashing for the CIA, and he decides, hey, kids.
Oh,
He spent years dosing orphan children with
Fucking knew we were going to get into kids getting dosed at some point. I knew it.
LSD, PCP, barbiturates, and sodium amytal, and confined them to sleep rooms, which were tiny little rooms that they'd be locked in pretty much constantly, completely sensorially deprived, right?
Mhm.
And these kids end up losing most, if not all, of their memories, right? They were completely unable to interact with other people. They became zombies for the sake of CIA research, and they were never able to live outside of mental institutions.
Yeah, they've been driven insane.
So it's like those kids that you hear about that the family locks up in the basement.
LSD, PCP, and barbiturates to children.
Except, multiplied.
Did
by-
any of them develop psychic powers? Maybe the ability to rip into another dimension they call the Upside Down, and then then get a ragtag group of young Midwestern boys together?
I think if that was the case, the first thing that would have been ripped in half was Dr. Ewan Cameron.
Right.
I think that happens in the show too.
Right.
So I think
Right.
it
Yeah, I
does
think
too,
so
yeah.
too.
So,
God damn it, kids, we were having so much fun too.
yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Remember Cameron's belief that the psyche was an illusion, right? Everything's
Yes.
hardwired in your brain.
My illusions, Michael.
That's usually my bit. It's not a trick, Michael. It's an illusion.
Trick is something a whore does for the CIA.
Trick is something. Have you heard of Midnight Climax, Michael? So again, if your brain is hardwired if everything's assembled in a specific way, it can be disassembled, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Cameron's
Sure.
Dr. Cameron's subproject 68 involved subjecting people. I'm not sure if kids were involved in this one, but subjecting people to intense sensory deprivation, then inducing them into a coma
Fuck.
for 5 hours a day for as many as 50 consecutive days,
Damn.
where he'd play recorded messages to them on a loop, right? These are the Montreal experiments. If you ever
Right.
hear about the Montreal experiments, this is what. So Cameron's twofold process, which he did get some results. I mean, he got what he made some headway as far as what the CIA wanted, right?
Mhm.
His process was, one, break the person down completely using drugs, sensory deprivation, and induced comas continuously until they couldn't function as a fucking human being anymore. And then two, play looped tapes over and over and over to reprogram them. And these practices ended up leaving people completely broken and unable to function. They would lose a ton of memories. They would basically revert back to childhood. They would forget how to talk. They would forget who their parents were. They would believe in some instances that the interrogators were their parents. That's how fucking fucked up.
In Satanic Panic, we talk about how easy it is to implant ideas into a kid's head when
Right.
they're young and impressionable like that. And then you, again, just amplify that by, I mean, this is like Clockwork Orange
By
shit,
the way,
right?
we use this same shit in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
Post 9/11.
Yeah, yeah.
This is, we brought back some of Cameron's stuff for Guantanamo Bay.
The Harold and Kumar movie?
Yeah. When
No, they had the budget for that.
when MK Ultra was discovered, Cameron was dead, and he became a big fall guy for the whole project.
Yeah, it's like, the dead guy did it.
Yeah, basically.
Not us live guys. It was the dead guy.
But it destroyed his
Told him
legacy.
not to.
Justifiably so. It destroyed his legacy. I mean, because up until then, he was revered as, like his career, as far as the public was concerned, was hugely positive. And then this came out and it fucking wrecked his legacy. Like I said, justifiably so. I have no excuse
Yeah, good. Fuck that asshole.
for dosing children. So
You said earlier that like he was getting results, right, from what the CIA wanted.
in terms of breaking people,
That's kind of the thing about all of this experimentation that they lose sight of, possibly from so much fucking drug abuse and shit, is that when you have an idea of like, I think I can break people doing this, you're probably fucking right.
Yeah.
It's not, you're using a cognitive thought process to be like, if you use these drugs that have this result on people and do it like this, I'll bet you it'll fucking do this to them.
Yeah.
You're almost always going to be right with,
Yeah.
with a fucking educated guess like that.
Right.
Like that hypothesis is probably right on point. But doing it is inexcusable.
oh my God, yes.
That's the whole thing. Like just because you can, it doesn't mean you should.
Sure.
But more than that, it's
That's
like,
why in the 40s we did this thing called the Nuremberg Codes.
but it's just like, what is more important? Like finding out whether or not you can do this or not being an absolute demon.
To some
Because
people,
what the fuck is your life, man?
to some people, it's more important to find out. I think it comes down to this paranoia that, again, this is Cold War paranoia. It comes down to this like, well, if we don't, then the Russians will do it, or the Chinese will do it, or the Cubans will do it, or somebody's going to do it. You know what I mean?
Which asshole thought that, that they had?
Dulles, Alan Dulles.
Yeah, Dulles, yeah.
By the way, here's the more fucked up part, right? There were other facilities doing other experiments on kids. I think Harvard was involved in one where this wasn't hyperbolic just for the intro. They were putting radioactive materials in the food of mentally handicapped children. They did electrode tests on kids' brains to try and reprogram them and implant false memories. This is little thin rods that they would implant into. Remember, we've got the cortical homunculus, right? So we know the areas of the brain that stimulate different things, right? So they would fucking implant electrodes into their brain and pump it with, low voltage electricity.
God damn. When I was a little kid, I always dreamed of being the technician that would implant an electrode into the brain of a mentally challenged kid that I'd just given irradiated mashed potatoes.
My brother wanted to be a fireman.
I was like, I'm going to do something big for the world. I'm going to push these buttons in a sequence to make this mentally challenged kid dance.
So in total, more than 100 different MK Ultra tests were done on children. And when they were done, they didn't know what to do with these kids because they had completely fucked them up. So they lobotomized them. Yeah. By the way, that's only because when they discussed just killing them, which was a debate.
Wow.
They figured that they probably wouldn't have been able to keep that a secret for long. You got to figure each test probably involved multiple children, regardless of where they're from or what deficiencies society may have labeled them with. There's still some form of oversight, right? So chances are that not every single overseer is going to be quiet and turn a blind eye to multiple kids leaving and never coming back. So they just lobotomized all these kids.
Honestly, would have just been better to kill him, probably.
Probably.
Who was the guy who died that they...
Ewan Cameron, Dr. Ewan Cameron.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So who was ultimately held accountable for this shit? Or did they just dump it all on Cameron? Nobody. Okay.
No one.
No one. It's all public knowledge and no one will ever
Nothing happened to anybody. Sidney Gottlieb died at home. Alan Dulles died at home. Everybody involved was able to die, surrounded by their family. And
how long would it take you to figure out how many people that were active in policy making at the time are still active in policy making?
I think everybody's gone at this point.
I bet you Strom Thurmond was there. He was there until about 2010, right?
Close to it, yeah. So there was also we don't have a ton of time to get into it today, but Dr. I saw his name and slipped right into the accent. Dr. Jose Manuel Rodriguez Delgado of Yale University. I almost said doctor. Like I said, we don't have a ton of time to get into Dr. Delgado, but he was also a fucking monster. He was the only other person who really got the same results, maybe even a little better results than Dr. Cameron, by inserting electrodes and using drugs directly into people's brains. He figured out how to manipulate emotional states.
Ooh.
There's a video that still exists where he's just pushing a button and this 16-year-old girl is going from like crazy rage to complete calm. Oh, and it's not just something wild. It's not just something to put on for the cameras, because he also did it with a fucking bull, where he had this bull like raging at people, like charging, and then he'd press a button and it would just stop.
Here's my thing about the whole MK Ultra thing. It seems like the drugs were added.
It was redundancies. It was, let's see how many things if we keep adding to it, eventually we'll find the formula where the things
you can
work.
break people just with sensory deprivation and a lot of the other stuff without, dosing them with fucking LSD.
Yeah, but can we implant ideas into your head to turn on your country and assassinate a leader?
They're mapping out the homunculus among us or whatever, and it seems like you can get to these quote air quotes on the radio. It seems like you can get to these desired results without wasting a ton of acid on.
I could have had that acid. God damn it.
I mean, my big question is always cui bono? Who benefits?
The government thought that they would.
But wow. Like maybe out of all this, we'll get one guy to go kill Castro or something.
The same reason that the Nazis thought that they would get some sort of thing.
Just get a really good sniper.
Well, the crazy thing to me is that like the whole fucking thing is all about mind control, right? Mm-hmm. We figured out mind control hundreds of years ago already. The American military is one of the greatest mind controlling entities in the history of the world. Yeah. The way that people are indoctrinated, treated, conditioned all lead to a state of like very specific control.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, yeah, okay, a little tweak here or there if you really want to get fucking deep, because the majority of soldiers maintain their, you know, autonomy and their humanity. But like, once they're in those conditions, it would take, I would say, your average like grunt soldier, if you gave a CIA guy, you know, 24 hours in a room with him, you could probably get anything you want out of him.
I mean, listen, as far as all these MK Ultra sub projects go, I'd say the one that came the closest to being able to break a man down and make him do whatever it is that you want is hookers on CIA payroll.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's the one. That's the one where it's like, can you go kill Castro for me, baby?
You're already high.
You're give me another blowjob, right?
You're already high. She's yorking your hog.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'll
kill the fucking shit out of Castro. I'm fucking to death with this boner right now. Okay, so we have to wrap this up, but I have a couple honorable mentions here for just purely, I'm going to use it again, fucking evil people. I don't use that word. I hate that word so much,
I think it's
but
applicable
God
here.
damn it.
Oh, this is all evil as fuck. Yeah.
So Dr. Harris Isbell.
I think feeding irradiated food to mentally challenged children is about as evil as it's going to get.
Jesus Christ. So Dr. Harris Isbell, who was the director at the National Institute of Mental Health, NIM, at their Addiction Research Center. Pay attention to that. Their Addiction Research Center in Lexington, Kentucky, tested LSD and around 800 other psychoactive drugs on almost exclusively black inmates.
Cool.
Yeah. In numerous other MKUltra experiments, participants were, quote, subjected to differential and torturous treatment and dosing dependent on race. In one 1960s study, Negro men convicted on drug charges were recruited from prison and given LSD in a research ward, while a comparison group made up of professional white people at Cold Spring Harbor living freely took LSD in, quote, the principal investigator's home under social conditions designed to reduce anxiety. So he was fucking with the, like, don't you know anything about scientific method, dude? You're fucking your control completely. Put the Negroes in the research facility. Bring the whites to my house. We're going to have martinis. 8 of them. This, by the way, is the famous 200 micrograms for 77 consecutive days. That's like frequently talked. That's like one of the things that comes out. Like when you look up MK Ultra, you see a lot of like, one guy was given for 77 days. This is Harry Isbell. This was this is what he was doing. 200 micrograms for 77 days straight.
That's too many.
That's so crazy. You'd never not be tripping for 77 days straight. You would just be tripping the whole time.
Yeah.
In a research facility. And then you go back to prison. So that's just a bad trip for 77 days straight. My God.
I wish we knew a lot of the follow-up on these people. Who
I mean,
were,
I can only
I wish you could trace like where a lot of these test subjects went.
I can only imagine that most of the people we talk about when they're getting experiments like this performed on them, that's essentially the end of their life. They're always going to be fucked up and weird. They'll never be able to function normally.
Absolutely.
Like, we talk about this as like an isolated incident, but like anyone who had this shit done to them is fucked for the rest of their life.
Yeah. Here's another fun guy, Dr. Louis Jolyon West.
Jolyon,
Jolyon is his middle name. Jolyon. He was the chair in UCLA's Department of Psychology, and he was also doing experiments using radio waves and parapsychology to create dissociative states in violent individuals, right? Which sounds not as bad as a lot of things we've talked about today. But he, using these methods, he achieved the desired effects. Now, he says that he never did work for the CIA. The evidence suggests otherwise. But he achieved the desired effects of amnesia, false memories, and altered personalities, right? Mm-hmm. And here's where you start to go, this guy kind of sucks, right? He referred to his subjects as changelings.
Changelings.
Yes.
I am a wizard and they are my changelings.
So you're going to like it even worse when you hear the rest of his story. I am Jolyon the wizard. Attack, changelings. So his violent individuals weren't like serial rapists or murderers. They were kids from a couple of the local high schools that West determined would have the genetic predisposition for violence.
Oh, yeah? What were the markers of that?
Oh, you know where it goes from here, baby. One of the schools was in a largely black area. The other was a largely Latino area.
The skull shape indicates they'd be violent.
White kids have never been violent before.
No, not in this country.
Yeah.
Never
also,
seen any evidence of that every couple of weeks.
Oh boy. Also, if you want like a cherry on top of Dr. West's colostomy bag of life, he killed an elephant with LSD.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
How much LSD do you have to give an elephant to kill it?
I mean, like,
Whoa.
enough to kill an elephant.
I
Like, as
took
much as they
enough
thought
LSD. Back to Whitey Bulger. They gave me enough LSD to kill an elephant.
They're like, no, he didn't. God, I can only
Camera, turn it to the dog's head.
I can only imagine that elephant gained like pure enlightenment right as it
my
died.
God.
Like, holy shit.
Or it just died violently and anyway, we have now reached the conclusion of this fucking insanity. So how and why did this finally end? In 1963, a CIA Inspector General's office.
1963, something else happened that year.
A CIA Inspector General's office hears about these tests that have been conducted without the consent of the test subjects, and he says no more. But at that point, like with a decade and a half of extensive LSD, hypnotherapy, sensory deprivation, etc., testing, and no conclusive results, Sidney Gottlieb had kind of run the gamut and gotten nothing really. So this shit persisted with more fucked up tests. They leaned more on opiates at that point. But then, well, let's do a serious linear here, right? We've talked about COINTELPRO. In 71 is when those guys broke into the FBI offices and found all that shit. In 72 is when the Watergate scandal breaks, which ends with Nixon retiring, let's call it.
Flying away in a helicopter. I don't know.
Doing the peace signs and flying away. In 74, Gerald Ford takes over for Nixon, right? And Gerald Ford authorizes the Church Committee, which investigated MK and COINTELPRO. Unfortunately, at that point, they had basically nothing on MK Ultra because that in between year, 1973, between like, so COINTELPRO happened 71, Watergate happened 72, Nixon doesn't resign until 74. In 1973, CIA director at the time, Richard Helms, ordered everything having to do with MK Ultra to be destroyed.
Damn.
So all they had to go on whenever in 74 was when the Church Committee reported like their findings, all they had to go on was testimony and not much else. So,
I mean, with that, they should have rounded up everyone who did all that shit and shot them by the dumpster.
yeah, no shit. Well, lucky for us and I guess the world at large, in 1977, somebody finds about 20,000 documents related to MK Ultra that were quote unquote misfiled, and that's when we learned of all of this.
Damn.
But think about this, we still don't know everything.
Right.
But I do wonder, like, were those really misfiled, or whenever Richard Helms was like, you know, burn it all. Somebody was like, I'm not burning it all.
Well, you said
like a Frank Olsen character who was like
I'm gonna
there's no
misfile
fucking
this somewhere.
This is gonna go get tucked away somewhere.
Yeah.
Where one day it's gonna come out.
I wonder if in 1963, when it was ordered to like no more of this, wonder if that had anything to do with the Kennedy assassination.
Possible.
You know, I mean that's just a conspiracy you kind of throw out there, but like the ending,
a lot of shit happening at the same time.
Yeah,
there.
that program ending at the same time that a president's assassinated seems widely coincidental.
And an
I know a
assassination.
year is a long time, but like
Yeah, and an assassination that may possibly have
Been done,
implemented the CIA and or FBI.
I mean, you know, also because a lot of MK Ultra was trying to put together assassins. But hey, that's for another.
It was in the back of my
episode.
mind the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you know what was in the back of Kennedy's mind?
A fucking bullet.
The asphalt.
Yeah. Well,
Hi-oh.
magic
Back
bullet.
and to the left.
So yeah, I mean, this is fucking insanity. It's insanity that was federally sanctioned shit that happened not that long ago.
Yeah, that was decades ago. Wonder what's I'm not gonna say it.
What's going on now? The same type of fuckery, probably.
What's the takeaway here?
I don't know. That, you know, question authority. Trust
Yeah.
no one.
Did you ever see the Coen Brothers movie Burn After Reading?
Yeah.
They keep going back to J.K. Simmons as like some sort of government
So
official.
what do we learn here?
Being
Yeah.
like, what's going on? Like, oh, so what are they doing? Okay, so that person's dead? Okay, great. Then at the end, he's like, so what did we learn? I don't know, to not do it again, I guess. Whatever the fuck it was.
That's what I imagine J.K. Simmons' character. That's what I imagine the guy
Yeah.
at the top of all this being like,
Jesus.
oh, that happened? Oh, this happened? Oh, kids now.
Kids now. Jesus Christ. All right, well, let's not do that
How many
again. then.
martinis?
How many prostitutes?
Where?
Wait.
California. Yeah, man. Shh. I don't know. That's the end of the episode. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it anymore or if we just want to
Again, I think it's
stew
just,
a little bit.
I think you just kind of sit on all that. You know,
kind of have to.
No, I'm
that's
done.
a thing that happened.
I'm done now.
I told you it was a good episode.
It was good.
Told you it was
You're
gonna be a
right.
good
You're
one.
right.
I don't want to talk anymore.
And I told you at the beginning of part 1, I was like, you guys are not going to feel okay at the end of this. And you were like, no, I'm pretty dead inside anyway. Here you are. Look, I called it, motherfucker. All right. If you like that episode,
Feel like a pile of dead monkeys.
Pile of dead monkeys, 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 pile of dead monkeys. Okay, if you like that episode, the best way to tell us is to get on whatever you're listening to. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a review. If you leave us a review, that is like enormous to us. Like it means so much. It helps us algorithmically, chart-wisely, dead bunkily. If you are on Spotify, leave a comment on this episode or any of the other ones that you liked and then want to talk to us about.
We'll climax at midnight if you do that.
Yeah, we will climax at midnight. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Delete Everything Podcast. Send us a message if you like at deleteeverythingpodcast@gmail.com if there's a topic or something you want us to talk about. And if you really want to, and if you're smart, and if you just are like the fucking best person ever, patreon.com/deleteeverythingpodcast is extra. It's just for you. It's waiting there. It's waiting there like a pile of dead monkeys you discover when you get to work in the morning.
I will say that some of the shit that we did on this episode is on par with some of our Patreon stuff for sure.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Ukulele, shrimp necklace, orb, 77, katana, motherboard.
Must kill Kennedy.
Big dildo. Black guitar. Katana.
30 seconds on it, bitch. Let me ask you, how many dead monkeys have you had to clean up in your fucking life?